Hello, friends.
Oh, we're doing this again.
It's time for the spectacular.
Ooh, I'm excited.
A jumbo series of live shows.
Cool.
With guests whom you all know.
We sure do.
We got all you need in the TVCo app, which is free. We're talking everyday life with BB alums, old school, new school. It's all epic fun. So let's get started, friends, because us three got a lot to discuss.
We do.
It's time to enjoy the show.
It is.
Let's see who'll be joining us.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
Guess who's enjoying the intro?
Hooray!
It's me, and I'm sorry, Nicole, I tried for you, but we got guests. We gotta start the show. Go, Nicole, start the show. Start it now.
Fine.
Hello, Nicole. Hello.
Hello, Eric. Hello.
I forgot to hit record.
You did not. What is going on?
I did not. You're correct. I did not. So welcome everyone to the show. It is a Sunday fun day around here. Everybody loves these Sunday surprise shows, Nicole.
Absolutely. Who doesn't love a Sunday surprise?
Who have we surprised people with on a Sunday so far? Julie.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Sully.
Mm-hmm.
From Pentatonics. Who do we have
Big
last?
T.
Big T. And I'm going to let you intro this Sunday surprise guest. I'm super excited. But first, reminding people that the best way that you can find out and keep track of what's going on is make sure you follow, like, and subscribe wherever you guys are watching these shows. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Did I say YouTube, Twitch? Probably. And of course, in the Hello Friends community, in the free TVCo app, is where you can participate in all the interactive features of this show. Of course, sharing is caring, so when you guys are done watching this show, make sure that you share it. Let your friends know about it. Put it in those Facebook groups and tell your grandma. It's another great way to help support the show. And finally, 5-star rating and a nice review is always appreciated if you're listening on your favorite podcast providers. And HelloFriendsPod.com on that Find Us live page will give you the links to all our socials, schedules, and more. That being said, Nicole.
That being said, Eric, I have to introduce our guest.
I know.
Our guest is a phenomenal individual, a huge friend of the show, friend of us in our personal lives, and although she handles herself with grace, I love her because she puts Eric in his place. It is the one, the only, Kaitlyn Herman.
Wow. That was an introduction for the ages.
I had it prepped from the moment you kind of checked Eric. I was like, this is perfect.
Eric, are you okay?
I like this already. I don't know how I feel about this already. I'm not.
Settle down. We're fine. We are family friends. I am a friend of the podcast. We're family friends.
We are family podcast friends, and I love it.
Yeah.
No, it's so
fine. Damn it.
It's so good to see you back here with us.
I'm happy to be back here with you guys. I love being around you both. It's just a very distorted relationship, weird energy, and I love watching it between the two of you.
Is it? I know. The awkwardness is great. I just like to make Nicole feel uncomfortable during shows, and now I feel like I have backup when you're here, but now Nicole thinks that you're on her side, and I'm very confused.
I'm
on both sides. I think that you guys both share moments of being inferior, and I will take whoever's side that is not inferior.
Yeah, I always just take the funniest side.
Yeah, you do. Nicole's funny though, too.
Thank you, Kaitlyn. Thank you. I say it all the time. I think I have good humor moments here and there, and he just doesnn't see it.
No, he doesn't get your brand. He doesn't get your brand.
Okay, I'm ready.
I guess I am.
Joke. No, well, go ahead, Nicole. Give me a good joke. Make me laugh.
Your face.
Right. I did great with that one. Yeah.
Thank you.
Eric, I'm on your side for the moment.
Just like that, I lost her.
Yep. And then if people are like Eric, then you try. I don't necessarily think I'm funny. I think it's funny to make Nicole uncomfortable, and I think that's what is funny. So, like, if I was like, how are you doing with your booty eggs, Nicole? Then she'll be like, what's a booty egg? Or like last night, Nicole was emotional, or not last night. What am I talking about? A few nights ago, Nicole was emotional and she had to like step away from the live show because she was having a moment and they needed someone to jump in. So I jumped in and everyone was like, what happened? Why is Nicole upset? And I told everyone that she just found out she had herpes and needs a moment.
Yeah, that's what he said, Kaitlyn. That's what he did to me. No, but Kaitlyn, you understand. And I don't mean this because right away he'll start saying it's feminine issues. That's not what I'm saying. When you just like are in your feels and everything's hitting you at once, and I don't know, you're just like hit with like a fan made a compilation of BB21, and then I went to my P.O. box and some people had sent me like presents as appreciation, and everything just hit me, and I just had this overwhelmed moment of like love, and I got emotional. Yeah, like you just feel it.
Yeah, of course.
And that's what happened. And I lost it.
I mean, listen, that and herpes is emotional, so I understand.
And you have to spread the word, not the disease, Nicole. Spread the word, not the disease.
You're a survivor.
My scars tell my story.
Totally.
They do. But Kaitlyn, I mean, I have to start with this. I mean, there's a very specific reason why not that even we wanted you here. This sounds bad. Chat has been saying, get Kaitlyn this week. Get Kaitlyn. We need Kaitlyn. But we'll get more into that in a minute, because when I said it's so great to have you back here, I didn't just mean on the show. You're back in New York, right?
Yeah, I am. And I really want you guys to come out here. I don't know what your protocols are with COVID and stuff. I have to get tested once a week because now that I'm back in New York, I have the opportunity to see my grandma and my parents, and I don't want to take any risks. So I do get tested rapidly, and then the long-term ones on top of that. But if you guys ever want to come to Brooklyn and come hang out, please.
How is your rapid test? Which one do they do for you for rapid?
You mean like what strategy? Like, do they go in my nose?
Yeah.
We're going in.
Is it the sponge or is it the hard one?
It's like a standard, like longer Q-tip.
Oh, your doctor does not like you. They got a spongy one. They got a sponge one now. It's a lot less, and it's still rapid test.
Wow. You see, yeah, no, my doctor's office, the urgent clinic that I go to, is not doing that in Brooklyn. But you know what, Eric, I'm a survivor. So a little Q-tip of the nose is not, I've been through some other shit, like public slut shaming and like all that, like what's a little Q-tip up the nostril?
Exactly. And they also have a new one. They said they're coming, like, isn't there like a rectal one as well? Which in that case, aren't you better off with the nose one?
Oh, yeah. I'm not shoving anything up my ass that does not need to be there.
I feel like
I heard
that was very homophobic and directed directly at me, Nicole.
I don't feel like it was homophobic. I feel like it was just someone that's anti having anal on a Tuesday at 4.
Nope, but this is what I wanted. See that right over? That's what I love to call Nicole homophobic.
Herpes and homophobic.
It's my favorite.
Oh, now we're just adding all the terms. Now we're just adding all of them. But I know. No, I'm just not even letting you. Because you have a new apartment, and that makes me really jealous and excited and happy.
Well, it's awesome actually, because I'm doing a collaboration with a company right now called Common Living. So I'm actually only in the spot till the end of March unless I choose to extend the stay, which I probably plan on it unless I want to go into Manhattan. But I got myself in a really cool situation where actually someone that works for Common Living, and I'll explain what that is, listens to my podcast, and she is in their like social media team. And she was like, I heard that you're like moving and you're stressed with like the move and you don't know where to stay. And we're looking to implement, having influencers now, like help us with our social media. So basically, I know it was all what we like to say in Hebrew, very basher, it's very meant to be. But they reached out to me and they were like, this is what Common Living is. It is literally the coolest thing in the world. They have tons throughout the country. So in LA and all the major cities, they have a few in Brooklyn, 1 or 2 in Manhattan. And they're basically these buildings where there's co-living suites. There's also studios. There's also 1-bedrooms. But the whole idea of it is that they're building a community. So it's very dorm room vibe-esque for adults. So
cool.
when I mean dorm room vibe, I don't mean like everyone's like has a meeting on the third floor or anything like that, but you have different rooms, like lounges and spaces like that in the building. There's also a community app. Also, this is not like an ad right now. I'm just explaining what I've been doing and how much I've been loving it. But like I literally love it so much. We have an app, so I'm familiar with anyone in the building. Anyone can like get in contact with each other if you have a question, if you have this, you have that. It's just a really cool community. So yes, I think I'm going to end up staying here longer and extending, but awesome. It started off as just like a collab that I was doing.
You said college dorm and you have everyone's information, and this would not be good for me and my people, because I would figure out when the hot guys were using the lavatory room. No, that's not what I mean in that way, but I'm just saying. I'd be like, yes. Do you come to this shower a lot?
So yes, I have looked through I mean, of course I have. Like I've looked through the people in the community, but you only get like a little small picture. So you can't really like tell. Mm-hmm. And with COVID, this building, especially my building, is super safe. So like you cannot go anywhere without a mask in the building. So it's not like I've really had interactions with anyone. But yeah, you best believe when I first got in here, I was like, anyone here? Like any new suitors for me?
And did you find any that you're kind of like, okay, when COVID restrictions lessen, maybe I'll, go to the lounge while Jim is there?
See, no, I haven't yet, but I'm staying optimistic.
Okay.
Now, I'm curious, Nicole, what are your thoughts on this? Because Nicole is desperately been looking for a place to live, an apartment of her very own. Is this a scenario that sounds appealing to you, Nicole? We have not heard of this type of thing before.
Nicole, you should reach out to see if they would do. Well, I can reach out to them for you.
My question is, and I don't mean it's going to come out inappropriate. That's not what I mean. But like, do you sleep alone? Like, do you have your own sleeping quarters?
Yeah, I'm in my own studio. Yeah. So you have to, first of all, if you do a collab with them, which like we'll figure that out for you. But let's say and I'm their first one. I'm like, Jesus fuck. Like, why the fuck? Why did they let me do this?
Because
but anyway,
you're amazing.
Yeah, but I'm also like literally losing thousands of followers every day because I post about how much I love Biden and Kamala and like Jewish rights and like all this stuff. So like I'm I'm dwindling at the seams, but I don't care. I'm speaking my truth. Yep. But so if they put you in one of the apartments, they're going to put you in a studio. I have the most beautiful studio ever, but that's not to say that on my floor there could be a co-living space, meaning that it's a 4-bedroom apartment, let's say, and the main space is like your living room and your kitchen and you guys all share that. It's just like getting an apartment with like 3 different people, but they go through like background kind of checks. So you're not with anyone random and they like ask you your interests. It's like matchmaker and it's like, it's really, really cool. Like I'm telling you. And I
really to be clear. I was just going to say, but to be clear, you can have your own place because obviously for Nicole and what we do for a living, she needs her own place that's quiet for recording and producing and shows and all of that. So that is an option.
Yeah, studios are options for sure. If they have available.
If they're available.
See, that's what I like because I want my own independent space where it's just me. But one thing I will say I really enjoyed, and I've said this about like my big brother experiences, is I never went away to college. I never like lived with other people. I would have preferred my own space at times, but I did like that communal, you can walk outside and there's 2 people hanging out. You walk in the kitchen, there's somebody to talk to. So I do like the idea of like, it's my own space, but then there's new people to interact with in the general areas.
Exactly. Yeah. And Nicole, also like what could be so cool about if you do one of the ones in Brooklyn, let's say like, I don't know if you have a car, if you plan on getting a car, if you're scared of public transportation or any of the things, but luckily for me, like I get a parking spot here. I get a parking spot in the garage. So the amount of times that I just drive fucking home, like my parents are so sick of it. They're like, Kaitlyn, first of all, go back to LA, number 1. Number 2, like it's enough of driving, but it is that easy. So God forbid, first of all, I'm in a studio. The closet space is not nearly big enough for me if I was really moving in all my stuff. But again, I'm only here till the end of March. If I choose to extend, I'm going to have to go to a 1-bedroom because the closet is literally this big. Fine. But I have in-unit washer dryer. I'd rather have that than a bigger closet space. Now, that being said, I don't need to keep all my clothes here because I have my family. I have my bedroom still in Plainview. So even if you do get a place where, it's not big enough and all of your stuff can't come, you're 45 minutes away. It's not that serious. But what I will say is that this particular apartment, like this unit that I'm in, I couldn't afford if I wasn't doing this collab. Like this actual unit is $2,700 a month. I'm not spending $2,700 a month on an apartment. I don't know. Some people would say that that's incredibly worth it because I have in-unit washer dryer, that's access to a gym, that's you get a housekeeper once a week to come clean your stuff. I mean, there's a lot of amenity. You have parking. There's a lot that ends up adding up. So the $2,700 doesn't seem that bad. If they end up like saying that I can extend and they want to like say like, okay, half off and you keep posting, obviously I'll do that. But
yeah, amen.
Especially in Manhattan right now and Brooklyn, like things are way less, but this is a beautiful place.
I was going to say 27 is my mortgage payment.
It's really steep. I know.
But it's Brooklyn. So I don't know, like that's great for Brooklyn. I mean, you're paying.
No, but it's also not. It's also not though. Like
really?
This is like especially right now, prices are not this bad. But again, I'm in a beautiful, but I will say, I'm not cheaping myself out. I'm doing a lot of work for them. Like, I'm doing a lot of work for them. It's not just like on my personal stuff, because that's nothing. I'm like doing stuff for their page and I'm holding events. That's another cool thing. We're talking so much fucking about this company, but Nicole, you'd love this. You can, you have virtual events. So like, I host meditation stuff. Like, I'm like working for them in a sense. Like, you can do 7:00 yoga. You can do gnocchi making at this time. It's like elite shit. I'm not going to lie.
Wow. But see, I do, again, not to like talk about, that company, but what I do like about it, because I've seen your posts about it and it did catch my eye and I was like, oh my God, congratulations. That's awesome. I don't really consider myself an influencer. I guess everybody to some extent is, but I don't push stuff that I don't believe in. You know what I mean? Or that, like, if someone reaches out, like, hey, I get so many freaking like marijuana and all that kind of stuff all the time.
Vibrators.
And for me personally, I personally do not use like marijuana or edibles or anything like that. So I don't answer them. So it's like, yes, that's like an opportunity I'm missing, but I wouldn't feel comfortable sharing that with my followers and be like, oh my God, they're the best, when I know I'm not, partaking in it. So something like this, what I love about it, like you said, you're doing a lot of work for them, but if it's something that you are passionate about and you do enjoy it, like that's awesome. Like why not?
I'm trying to get you to invite her over, Kaitlyn, if you haven't.
No, you guys are coming over. But here's the other thing, Nicole, like I'm surprising myself in a sense. I'm not surprising myself. I knew how great this place was, but like, it really is a testament to the fact that like, I fucking love this place and I don't mind doing this. When you think about the amount of work that I'm doing and how much I should be getting paid for like a permanent post anyway, the $2,700 a month that I'm actually not paying, I should be getting paid more than that for the amount of stuff that I'm doing. So this is like such a blessing for me because I'm doing a lot of work, but I also have time to do my own work. And I also am living in a beautiful place. So I will put you in touch with them just so you can see if there's anything that can happen here. Because like, honestly, like Nicole, you have more followers than I do. Like there's no reason why they would not have you do this, especially because you have a beautiful brand and you're relatable. Like, why would they not?
I hate this. I hate this for the simple fact that I know what we're getting into with Kaitlyn on this show, and I know what you're gonna say, Nicole.
Everything's happening for the highest good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm literally getting verklempt, as my family would say, because in having my breakdown, like last night, but the bigger breakdown 2 nights ago, I like kind of asked, the universe, more so my grandma. I was like, I need guidance, and it's going to be very, very strange if something like this were to work out, because that means it was meant to be, and that's going to make me really emotional. So I'm going to stop talking.
Nicole, but you know that, like, you just said something so interesting, which is like, it'll be really strange if that happens. And like, you know that it's not going to be strange. You know that it's going to be like, oh, fuck. Okay. Like, I guess that was that. Like, it's not strange. It's exactly what you know is supposed to happen. And even if it's not this particular thing, maybe this enlightens you that you realize that there are other companies that do this, and maybe you want to reach out to them. Like, Eric, what's the problem?
No,
He's so
I am really amazed. There's no problem. The problem is the show is boring if Nicole is like, talking about things. And I'm like, yes, me too. I have to be the yin to her yang. I'll just take the opposite viewpoint to make it funny. But, I want to get into it, but I want to ask you one thing first.
Yeah.
Because when we started this show, you were like, ooh, I got the good audio. I got the good microphone. I got all the good. Now, is that for the stuff that you're doing, or more specifically, is it because you guys at Quarter Life Crisis are putting out new episodes? I saw that there is a new graphic that you guys have put out.
Wow, Bethany, wow. If nobody understands that reference, then okay, yeah. So Quarter Life Crisis is now just me and Amanda. For those of you that did not, this is the first time I'm speaking of this on a public platform. Yeah, so we had our podcast, we created it like a little over a year ago. And it started with me, Morgan Willett from Big Brother Over the Top, and my friend Amanda, who I met prior to Big Brother. We worked at the same fitness studio in Woodland Hills, California. And when we came together, we were all at like a really different time. Like the world was not as intense and things were just a little bit more light. And we all just had different things going on as far as priorities. But unfortunately, Morgan had to make the difficult decision about a month ago, is how long we've known, but we just released it last week, that it just can't fit in her schedule moving forward. She's trying to expand her business. And I mean, honestly, the whole like theme of Quarter Life Crisis is like having a quarter life crisis and trying to figure your shit out. So as much as it sucks, like I also give her credit for recognizing that she wasn't able to show up the way that she could for the show. And now Amanda and I can feel like we can talk about certain things that maybe we couldn't before. It's very difficult when it's three people. And I'm sure I'm starting to realize that with just Amanda, like it's kind of great that it's just the two of us now and we figure things out. We record on our own schedules. Morgan's extremely busy. She travels a lot. She does this and that. And now that we're all on 3 different coasts, it just like wasn't conducive to like fitting her schedule the way it should if we were all on the right coast. So Absolutely. Amanda and I are moving forward, and we're really excited about it. And who knows like what's going to happen with it. But I know that I started something and we built somewhat of a community. I will say the most heartbreaking part about this though is the fact that like we released this statement like 2 days ago. Morgan released her statement and we've lost like over 100 followers on Instagram. And like, that was like a big, honest fear for us. There's Amanda who is, I don't know if you guys have ever listened to Quarter Life Crisis, but Amanda is like so irrelevant from like the scene. And she's not like a reality person. She's just a really sweet girl and just very genuine. And she feels a lot of guilt because she feels like she can't bring anything. Like she can't bring followers. She can't. And then it's like all on me. And like, I'm losing followers day by day. And Morgan was really the person who had the biggest following. And if we ever were to get new followers, it was really because of her for the most part. Well, that's what we need to remind ourselves. Like, I've had a lot of conversations with clients of mine who are like so sweet because, they're just like family to me now. And they're just like, Kaitlyn, like, you don't need to worry. Like the people that are going to stay for you are the people that are meant to stay for you, all that stuff. But it's difficult, as I'm sure it could be for you guys if you see that there's people not listening anymore or you're losing followers. It does make you think, well, like that sucks. Like, were they only listening for her? But
I think, that, in my opinion, and the reason why I reacted so strongly, I think that's very much just the fair weather followers, the fair weather. Oh, I know her. And then it's like, wait, she's leaving. Nah, now I'm butthurt. And I think with all due respect, those are the people you don't want listening, because if they want to listen to all of you collectively, they should support all 3 of you collectively. And I think something that like just in general on social media, and I was just talking to my sisters about this, it just hurts in general, just the nature of our world, is if I post a picture of myself in like, nice clothing, just like, like a model shot, it'll be like tens of thousands. Like, oh my God, Nicole, 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 Nicole. I post a picture of like me and my sisters. It's a lot less, and it's people that I'm more closer to. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So all these followers, they love me, but if I share what I love, it shrinks. And what's even more disheartening is something like Martin Luther King Day. If I post a picture of Martin Luther King and it's like 900, and I'm like, you have the audacity to like a picture of me in a jacket, but you can't like a photo of a Martin Luther King joke, like quote. And that's something that like is such a joke to me because I can't sort it in my brain. Like I can't.
Yeah. I mean, Eric, I'm sure you have like input on that too, especially because like you have a bit of a following, but like
I'm stuck
it
on
is
Martin Luther King joke, and I
know.
Just imagine what jokes Martin Luther King
You
would
know what
tell, and I
He was
bet they
probably
would be
so
hysterical.
funny. Wait, but that's so true, Nicole. I felt that way. I was literally in tears yesterday at the end of the day when I realized the lack. I mean, when I say lack, I mean no one. Literally no one posting about Holocaust Remembrance Day. And for me, it's like, let me tell you something. And this goes for everyone, Black people, white. I don't care what you are. Be an ally for everyone and everything. I am so sick of the fact that when it comes down to how about my community and the 6 million Jews that died in the Holocaust, where the fuck is everyone? And now, but I am getting shit on and reminded of the things that I said on Big Brother, and I'm a racist and all this stuff when I have lost followers for being the biggest ally, but no one's rolling through for the fucking Holocaust. I mean, I lost it yesterday, and I was watching the challenge, and I was so happy to see a commercial.
Yes.
I was like, fuck yes, turn up MTV for like supporting that. And then I talked about it with my best friend Talia, and she's like, Kaitlyn, you have to remember that like Jewish history is like not spoken about that much.
Nope.
And I was like, okay, but like everyone knows what the fucking Holocaust is. Like,
Right.
Come on, like calm the fuck on. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
My whole thing is like, and I don't even want to say the words, but like I didn't know. And that's on me for not educating myself or not being aware. So when I saw the challenge commercial, I said it during our watch party. I was like, wait, what? Oh my God. How, like, I couldn't like fathom it. And that does fall on me for not being educated and knowing it. But it is true. Like stuff like that is what everybody should be posting more about and talking more about. But if you do, that's what decreases the followers because people are mad. And it's like, why are you mad? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. After posting about the Holocaust last night, I lost 500 followers. I just want to make that abundantly clear. Yeah.
I don't care. I love it. I specifically post.
I love it. I love the Holocaust.
I love it. It's my favorite thing. Everyone's like, you can't be political. I purposely make political posts to get rid of those people. Like, I am very much a firm believer that after doing this for 10 years, it will be hard years. It will be hard months, but that is the reason why when I go live, I know there's always going to be at least 100 people there because you build people that will always stay with you for you being you. And that 100 people means more to me than having 20,000 if I'm selling out every single day, just doing what people want me to do.
That means a lot to me. Like, I hear that all the time, but for whatever reason, the way you just said it, like, really resonated with me. So I thank you for that because I needed that reminder.
It's so true, and it's not easy, and there will be times when there's not a lot of people. Now, I will say, my advice, it's too late now, but here's how I would have played it. I would have had Morgan go away. And then you guys could have been like, I don't know what happened with Morgan. And then she doesn't talk about it and you guys don't talk about it. And then it's like people are tuning into the podcast to see if you give hints. And then you can like drop little thing. Like podcasts that I was obsessed with, 10 years ago were podcasts in your exact situation where there was 3 people doing it. And then all of a sudden one left, but it wasn't really acknowledged. And then maybe one little bit of information was like if you would have played around with the fun of that, but then people could get mad, a la potato salad recipe. But I say I love a 2-person podcast. I think it is hard to do a 3-person one. It's harder to have a conversation. I think obviously we're 3 people here, but we always try and keep the focus on the guest. I don't know how we would, if it was always 3 people, I would feel like we wouldn't be able to have as in-depth of conversation. So I think your show will be a lot better with just 2 people.
Yeah, Amanda and I recorded our first episode that comes out on Monday of just the 2 of us. And it's so funny and so fun. And we just had the best time. And you make a really interesting point that's like really relevant to our situation. But when you just said like you can't see how it would be like as in-depth of a conversation every time that you'd record. And that's what it felt like a lot of the times. And it's that, and it's also on top of just different values for different people. I think when we started the podcast, and this is not a slight to anyone, but when we started the podcast, the world was in a different place, and it was able to be a lighter podcast. But unfortunately, the times are changing, and with that, I'm not gonna not talk about certain things that need to be spoken about because I don't want to come off as ignorant. My show and your show could definitely be a place where people have an escape and find happiness and all that stuff. But there's a way to do both, you know?
I was going to say, you can do both, you know? You can be entertaining and funny and talk about human rights and educate people. And like, you can do both. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Yep.
Yeah. So Amanda and I feel good about the fact that there's some things that we're excited to talk about. We're excited to just change things up, change the tone of it. We love Morgan. She's like a sister to me. So, I mean, she has a lot of great opportunities happening for her moving forward, and it'll be fun to see.
Now, I don't know if you can answer this. This is not meant in any way or shade or anything towards Morgan. Just Nicole and I found something out last night. What? That we did not know.
Oh, yeah.
And I am interested in it can you tell us anything from your perspective if it happened at that time? But obviously, Nicole and I cover the challenge.
Yes.
We had no clue that Morgan and Jay dated. So is that true?
Yeah. But they dated. Did you not watch X on the Beach?
No.
So that was it, though. They weren't dating, but before X on the Beach, they like hooked up a few times. They ended up going on X on the Beach. And that's when they kindled their relationship. They left X on the Beach, like dating, like fully dating. Okay. And then she left for the challenge and the relationship, like just, didn't stand that. But yeah, they met on X on the Beach.
I did not know that.
And me and Eric thought we were hearing this deep, dark secret that nobody knew about. It's all over the show.
No, trust me. If that wasn't public information, I wouldn't have told you. But yeah, they met on the show.
Yeah. Oh, no, we knew it was public information, but we just didn't know. Like, I just didn't know. Like, how did I not know that?
Isn't that such a weird match? Like, knowing both of them, it's so crazy.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think that is interesting, though.
They're just different. They're really different.
Yeah. Different.
I don't see that. But yes, I think it's all good, and we all wish Morgan the best. And yay for on to better, different things. Not better, different.
Yeah. Different.
You messed up when you left. No.
How are you guys liking the challenge?
Why?
I like it better than Big Brother this past season. I mean, I don't think it was hard.
What a fucking mess is Faisal Sean Shafat.
I mean, there's something happening there.
I mean, I can't. It's my favorite topic. Again, I wish nothing but the best for him. I wish him well. But my God, does karma feel fucking sexy in my bones every time he fucks up?
Yeah.
He's having a rough I don't know what I would categorize it as. Like, I don't want to say like identity crisis. I just feel like he's having like a very rough, like.
Well, didn't he break up with Haley like moments before he left for filming this season? I would imagine that has to be weighing on him.
But he like didn't. He did not do that. No.
but I feel like it's like one day of like, I am Fessy, I am strong, I am the best one here, I am this, and then just a 180 of like, I'm not confident, please don't be mad at me, I'm doing my best. Like, I don't know, I think almost like he doesn't know.
I don't think he knows. I do not think he knows.
Yeah, there's a struggle going on there.
For sure.
Well, who flipped?
Who fucking flipped? And it just, his whole thing is like, my dad always says to me, if you can put your head on the pillow at night and recap your day and know that like you did the right thing, like every single time, then you're good. Go to bed. But like, I don't think he can say that. I don't think he can always put his head on the pillow and say, I did the right thing today. You know?
I mean, it's hard. I mean, if we're saying that things weren't ended with him and Haley, then yes, that's messed up. I am always the one, and I am fully aware that I am the one sitting here that has not been on a reality TV competition show, and I full on admit I would probably also be the one to cry in a corner and self-evict. I admit that too. That being said, I want to believe that if I went into a show like Big Brother and I would split everybody's throat for my family to have health insurance, to make a better life, to pay my more. That's what I want to believe I would do. And I don't necessarily hold it against people that make cutthroat game moves. But that's just me. I realize the game is different people that feel different ways. I totally get it. I'm not saying my way's right, you're all stupid. I'm just saying I understand where he's coming from if he's really trying to win and do whatever it takes.
I think that's really fair for you to say, Eric, though, because you've been like someone that followed, like if you got put in the situation to go on the show, what I'm saying is like, I could see going one way or the other. I could see you being the person crying in the corner and self-evicting, or I could see you being the person that has literally been covering this shit for years. And like, you have followed and you know all of this stuff that like, it would be cutthroat because you'd be like, I'm not fucking doing this and not doing it. Like, I can see that. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's something when you go on one of these shows now that I'm like an expert on it because I was on it and fucked up. I think that Fessy should be smart enough to realize that winning that money is amazing, but it does not fucking matter if you're an asshole because guess what? The opportunities and the friendships that you make with people and the people that help you get further in life, like what? Like you're going to get the $1 million one time in your life or split it, or you can have these everlasting friendships and build your following and get more collabs and all this stuff. It's like, which one means more to you, I guess? I don't know.
No, and I completely get that. That was my whole like hang up in regards to like an all-star dynamic or challenge where they always return because there's so many intricacies of who knows whom and who dated whose brother and who went out for brunch once. And for me, like that's a very difficult thing to get past. Like, and my example was like someone like me and Cliff. If I was on the challenge with him and it was a head-to-head fight, I would give it my all, but not to an extent where I'd be like, yeah, I'm taking Cliff down. Like
never.
I couldn't do it. I know I couldn't do it.
Yeah, me too.
So I would slam into Nicole. I would literally lift her body in the air, shove her face into the dirt. And while I'm shoving it into the dirt, I would go, I will give you at least $100,000. Just relax and go with this.
Wait, hold on.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
What happened?
Oh, you're back. It said speaker device changed to Kaitlyn's AirPods, but you were coming on my computer and then we're fine. Hi, everyone.
We have noise canceling on, so no one even heard it.
I'm not going to lie, Kaitlyn. I thought like you got like a vision or something because you were like, hold on. And I was like, what? What do you see?
Speaking of visions, why am I here, guys? What the fuck do you need from me?
Yes, I'm sorry. Here's why you are here. Nicole and I last Friday took this personality test.
Yes.
And one of the questions on the personality test was, which of these things do you relate to the most, right, Nicole? So like tarot cards, a magic 8 ball, palmistry, a fortune cookie, or the thing that I can never say, the tea leaves, the so it's just a random question.
Yeah.
How do you say it?
I've never even seen tassiography before.
Me too. I was like, I don't understand why this is on this quiz.
First of all, that's not even like a thing, but yeah. Okay, so what did you pick?
Thank you. It doesn't matter what we picked. I obviously went with They're All Ridiculous because Nicole was like, I love all of them. So it led to an entire week, though, of us talking about all of these different things and, like spirituality and connecting and chakras and auras and like all of these things, which during the week people have been like, you have to get Kaitlyn on to like, weigh in on things. Go ahead, Nicole. I feel like I'm cutting you off and you want to say something.
I guess like we just want to know like, okay, in regards to like those options, you just said like the tea leaf thing is like not a thing. Which ones do you think do hold like an energy or a weight or an influence? And which ones do you think are just money-making schemes or entertainment schemes? Like, where do you think the genuine energies are?
Okay, the fortune cookie. Just kidding. Okay, so it's like here's the thing. I don't think the tea leaves thing is bullshit necessarily, but I think there's literally truth. It's not about the things. It's not about I believe more in the people, right? So like it's when someone who is highly gifted, highly intuitive, and highly connected to that other side is giving you a tarot card reading, it's about that person's interpretation of what, because it's not just you're going to a bullshit person if they're just interpreting cards for you. It's about the cards and then them connecting and communicating and understanding what is going on with that and tapping into something else. It's not just about the card. It's not just about the tea leaves. It's the person that's interpreting the tea leaf for you. I believe in the fact that we don't know shit. Okay. So like, who am I to say what's real, what's not, what's true, what's holding more energy than something else, when I genuinely believe that this world that we live in and us as human beings on earth, like this is the temporary. We think that this is the end all be all. And when we die, like we go to the next chapter, when I think this is the next chapter. And when we are born, before we were born, our souls were somewhere else. And that's the same place we go to when we die. And I have this theory that like when you pass away and like immediately your soul crosses, I have this weird theory and I've had dreams about it before too. I've never like seen if anyone else has thought this or even have talked about it with Karen Maurice. But I have this theory that like when you die immediately and your soul is, whatever, I have this thought that you are like, fuck, like I swore I was going to remember. Like I swore, like I told myself that like I was going to remember this time. Like I said I was going to remember this lifetime. And that's why like, I don't know if you've ever done research or seen those kids that like are born and they're like, I'm this person. I'm like this pilot, like all of that shit. It's like, I genuinely feel like those are those people that are having memory of past lives and bringing it into this one. And they have those moments of like, shit, like, and also when babies can't speak and they're like looking at you and looking at all these things, I think they still have it and they just can't, they don't know what the fuck is going on here. And then they develop and get used to it. But I think all of this is just like, we have moments throughout our life and everything's a sign. You just don't know to ask for it or what it is. Like the way the curtain is positioned, the way the bird flew past in this way, the way you open the door, it's all a sign, but we don't fucking know shit here. We don't know anything.
So Are you saying that you believe that we're like all reborn? So like you die and then you're reborn again and you're reborn, like we all just keep being reborn?
I don't believe that we keep being reborn. I think you keep being reborn until you've reached, like, I believe in like the theory of kind of like your dharma in a sense of like very lost vibes. My very first psychic medium reading with this woman, Diana, who's in Cold Spring Harbor, she was like, it was my first time. I was 21 years old. It was to connect with my grandpa, Lou. And this is when she told me I was going to be a life coach. And I was like, honey, I'm in the music industry. Like, I don't know what a life coach means. Like, this is like really awkward for me. But it ended up being the best experience of my life. And look what it led to. But I asked her because I was just so interested. I was like, what do you think happens when we die? And she's like, well, I mean, I essentially know. Like, I talk to dead people every day. And I'm like, okay, so like, walk me through it. And she's like, let me explain something to you. She's like, when your grandfather came through today, because this was all at the end when we were like walking out. And then she's like, and then your great grandmother came through. She's like, in order for your grandfather and your grandmother, your great grandmother to come through together at the same time, your great grandmother had to go down to be with your grandfather. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, basically, she's like, the way I interpret what's happening here when I pick up on spirit is that I'm always seeing people moving up or moving down on this like spectrum. And the closer down, keep going down. She's like, I can't hear, I can't communicate, I can't do anything. She's like, the higher up, it's so much clearer for me. It's like the best readings, like it's so whatever. And she's like, the way I interpret that is like, there's no heaven, there's no hell, but there's complete enlightenment. And then there's like essentially darkness. And she's like, and when you're in darkness, she's like, it's not like the fiery pits of hell, Kaitlyn. It's just harder to communicate. These people are more so to themselves. They're reflecting. It does not mean, though, that they are not given another chance to come back, to keep going up, up, up. So she explained it to me in a sense of like, you will come back here over and over and over and over again until you've reached your lessons in Earth School, for lack of a better word. And she's like, but the craziest part about it, Kaitlyn, is no one wants to come back, which is why, like, that's such a punishment. Like, because that other side is there's no such thing. We don't understand things like fear and anger. It's just love and light. So when you are, you've done something horrible, like a terrorist, for example, and you are down at that level and you are taking time to whatever, and then you have to come back, that's essentially like, because these feelings we have here of depression, anxiety, fear in itself, those are things that don't exist there. This is a punishment enough, is like where that's how great the other side is. So she says, you die at a level of light depending on where you lived out. So she's like, for argument's sake, your grandfather, I guess, fucked up a little more than your great grandmother. So in order for your great grandmother to be with your grandfather, she has to come down a level of light. If you're up, you can always go down. But if you're down, you can't go up. So like, that's like a gift of like being, I feel like I'm running on a rampage and I feel bad.
No,
how do you go up though? And how do you come back?
You do better in your next
life. You do better. So like, that's the point. Like in Earth School, before we go here, and then we had Monica, the medium, on our podcast, and she speaks a lot about this too. We believe in something called soul contracts. And Monica talks all about it. She's fucking amazing. And a soul contract is basically what you have written up with whoever, whatever is on the other side. And it's whatever, everything you're going to experience, learn, and whatever in this lifetime. Great. And once that soul contract is done, you die. So for example, let's say someone said to me, Kaitlyn, how could you fucking believe in any of this? Like, my newborn passed away, like at 1 year old.
Mm-hmm.
Your newborn's soul contract could have very much said, like, to feel unconditional love. And if that child had been around for one more minute, they might not have felt that way. Now, the way you passed, what she explains, has nothing to do with you. That now has to do with everyone around you's soul contract. So let's say someone has stage 4 cancer and it's a long and horrific and difficult death. At that point, they have lived out their soul contract, maybe a few minor things like to feel unconditional love, to impact someone's life for the highest good, whatever the case may be. But in everyone else's soul contract around you, maybe they needed to feel X, Y, and Z experiences. And the only way they would have done that is if you were in this state, if that makes sense. So, so with the soul contracts, it's like, that's the point of going up in life. Like when you cross over, if you can live out what you were assigned to do, then you reach there. And it's just another like way for, I guess, someone like me too, to continue to hold myself accountable and to get connected, because like, I feel like being aware of something like that is really special. And even if it's all bullshit, like who knows, but like, who's it hurting? I'm being the best version of myself.
That's always what I say as well. Even if it is all bullshit, why is it so bad to focus on it and want to be a better person tomorrow than you were today and hold yourself to this high regard and this high esteem and make sure you make good choices. I think that's incredible.
Yeah. I think it's one of the most powerful things I've learned, honestly.
That was a very powerful explanation. Damn.
It's the best version of an afterlife that I have ever heard. I started getting a little I've got a little panicky when we started talking death because that makes me have a panic attack.
Yes.
It shouldn't.
It totally does. But I was going to say as my joke, like, well, this ain't my last one because I did not get it right this time. But I want like some sort of like I need to remind myself before I die, like I'm gonna want my new contract to be like rich and in love. Why are we not all putting rich and in love in our contracts?
Because Eric, rich is not a thing there. So here's the other thing. And then she explains this to me, when you go there and then you're like, oh, I got to do this again. You don't feel anxious or fear or whatever about coming back because those things don't exist there. So it's just like this constant cycle of being like, oh, okay, like I'll go do that. Like it's just, and then you like do this life review when you pass. It's what they say, like you do your life review and you, from a loving, light perspective, are now looking at your life in this place where you can see only it from love. And you're like, oh, that's what I am going to do differently this time. Like like you are the highest, most loving version of yourself watching your shit show of a self in earth form. And you're like, oh.
Do you think, sorry, Eric, go ahead.
I just wanted to say I do love this, and so here are my two questions.
Yeah.
One, so is this like when people say that's what deja vu is? Like when people say you feel like you've done this before, that's deja vu? And is it the thing too where they say the people that are around you in your life now and people that you are close to now could have been people who were around you or close to you in like other lives?
Yes, 100%. That is very true. I've been told, want to hear a very crazy story, and I'll keep it brief because I know you guys like have to go soon. This is a wild one. So it's a little personal, but it is what it is. My father, a few years ago, this is the time I went to the psychic medium for the first time.
Right.
He had about a few days before was dealing with a little bit of like claustrophobia in a sense. He has never taken off his wedding ring before. And he just like read an article or something and felt like he should like take it off and clean it or whatever. And he couldn't get it off. And he was just like kind of like freaking out about it and like getting like scared and like just a little claustrophobic-y and was just like bugging, like having like a panic attack. And it was just very bizarre because you're like, I'm obviously dramatic. So I'm like, is it symbolizing something more? Like him and my mom have been together for 30 plus years. Like what the fuck is going on? Just a whole thing. I ended up like doing my research. After days, I got it off of him. Great. I go to the psychic medium and she says to me, what's going on with your dad and the ring? His ring. Like I keep feeling I need to pull off this ring. And I'm like, this is what happened. Like I explained that story and she goes, this is really interesting, but I'm getting a past life story right now from your father. And he was like in like 1800s, whatever, in England farm. He was like a rich guy of town, like ran this farm and he found this girl that was visiting through town and they ended up getting married, falling in love. And one day he was out on the farm and then she got pregnant and he's so excited and the whole thing. One day my dad's working on the farm and he, for whatever reason, forgot something in the house, which he never goes back to during the day. And while he goes to go back to the house, he overhears his wife telling a friend that the baby is not his.
Oh no.
And my dad picks up on his like horse or whatever. She's telling me this whole thing. He goes, and he leaves and he never looks back and he goes and he goes and he goes and he just keeps going throughout the town. He's a Commodore. He's a gypsy. He's just going through town. And in that time, he couldn't get it off. He was like he was trying so hard to get it off. He wanted nothing to do with it. He's trying to get it off. He's trying to get it off. And then he met your mom. And he's like, my current mom, Amy. And she goes, and they were just best friends. They like met and they traveled together and they were the best of friends. And they ended up dying at a young, whatever the fucking case may be. And I'm just like, so she's like, this had nothing to do with now. It has nothing to do with your mom. He was literally having a past life regression in that moment where he was feeling that worry, so whatever. And then it's like, how crazy that my mom is the one that ended up like being his friend and moving on. Just really wild stuff. Really fucking wild stuff.
And see, like, I believe that because when we had done your show and Karen like did like our readings and whatnot, and she said that my friend Rachel is somebody who's been with me for many, many lives. And I believe that because she's somebody that I've known all throughout childhood and has just been in my life. Like it's never a question. It's never is Rachel going to be mad at me? Are we going to have a falling out? Are we never going to talk it? Like we're just always there. So I feel like it's like an innate thing. And that's what I was going to ask. Do you think that's why some people like gravitate to things? Like I cannot explain it, but I just had a moment of like, I see myself in the Big Brother kitchen. I've seen it. I've walked through the Big Brother kitchen. I've walked past the memory wall. I've seen it. And I would tell my family, I know I'm going to be in that house because I physically have felt it. I've dreamt it. I know I've been in there. And then I got cast. So I don't know if that was just like me being like, I really want to be on a show. But it wasn't that. Like I felt like it was like, no, I was there. It's where I'm meant to be.
Yeah. 100%. And it maybe not in that situation, but like, yeah, I had the same thing. It's like some things you just have a knowing of. And it's like, there's nothing that can break or shake it. You just know. And it might sound bizarre and it might sound insane to someone else, but there's nothing stronger than that intuition, than that knowing.
Yeah. That's so bizarre.
I love this. And, you know, people, if you are new, you might not know, but obviously, Kaitlyn, you are still doing life coaching and talking people through scenarios and situations and things just like this, correct?
Yeah, I do.
So if people want to get in touch with you to do some of that, how should they do that?
Well, first of all, guys, thanks for having me. I always love talking about this stuff. But you can find me on Instagram at Kaitlyn_Herman. You can go to my website, katecoaching.com. You can order my new digital course called De-Funk Yourself. It's only $25, and it is the guide to finding inner and outer love and peace during this time. It's your 12-step. It is your 12-step program to get yourself out of the modern funk. Yeah, and then you could just shoot me an email if you want, if you're interested in coaching. I do every 5 weeks a women's coaching group called Spiritually Single. I take 10 girls and it's every Sunday and it's a lot of fun. My next one's going to start mid-March, so stay tuned.
Thanks. Love it. I think I am going to get De-Funk Yourself for you, Nicole. Not that
No. First of all, everyone needs to defunk themselves. No one is too good. And I'll give you guys a code. You don't need to fucking buy it. My God.
Aw, I would actually be very interested in it, to be honest.
Oh, you'll love it. It's very
funkin', if you know what I mean.
We all do.
Defunk.
Honestly,
She's both funkings in both directions.
Stop.
We love it. Are you guys gonna come to Brooklyn soon?
Yes.
Can we?
Yes. Literally come whenever you want. Literally whenever. Just make sure I'm home.
When are the hot people in those community areas?
I will say, my neighborhood is very aesthetically pleasing. Like I'm seeing some like hot ass people just like on the streets.
Oh, I love this. All right, we are down for this. We will 100% do it. I'm going to say, make sure that you guys check the links below this video so that you can connect with Kaitlyn. Find out more. I mean, I feel like there has to be a part 2 at some point.
Yeah.
I
have so many questions.
We spent too long talking about all the other stuff that wasn't about what we wanted to talk about.
We were literally talking about common living for 45 minutes. I am so sorry.
But I was very interested in that as well.
Yeah, Nicole, I have to, I'll reach out to my people and see if they're looking for someone else.
Can I ask one more question? I have one more question about the last thing we were just talking about. Is it, for lack of a better word, normal to get emotionally exhausted when you talk about this kind of stuff?
Of course, because
like I get so drained. I talk about it like I don't know, souls and auras and what drives you, and I just get like.
It's overwhelming because it's not something that it gets less overwhelming if you spend more time talking about it and letting it be the truth for you. But for people that don't really know but want to hope, and like it can get overwhelming because it's not like your total definitive truth. Like if you're playing around with it, it can get very tiring. It's like going back and forth. But for me, like it gives me a high because it's not like I spend every second talking about shit like this. And when I do, it's like, oh yeah, that's my reminder of like what I connect to and like what feels what I know is absolutely true. So like when you say that like it freaks you out and you get scared when we talk about death, like when I can tell you 10 million things that scare me more than death because I am so certain in my core that this is temporary and that we come from a place of love and light and that this is fucking hell, you know?
That's what my mom.
I agree. This feels like hell.
Yeah, it is.
I agree with that. All right. Well, Nicole, what are your final thoughts?
I think final thoughts are just that. Regardless if it's there after the fact, we should just start it now. Love and light always. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to your mind. Be kind to one another. Even if people are not the kindest to you, try to be as nice as you can back to them and just keep spreading the positivity like Kaitlyn does.
Amazing.
Yay. And of course, I will remind you that following and supporting people like Kaitlyn, like Nicole, like Kaitlyn's podcast, Quarter Life Crisis, is the thing that keeps those shows going. So make sure that you do that. Look at how much it means. Every follow counts, every like matters. So make sure you guys are out there supporting the people and the things that you love.
Yes.
Yay.
Because love is love. And we'll see you guys all tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern for the next podcast recording of Hello, Friends.
Yes.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, friends.
Bye, guys.